This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by a 40-piece orchestra. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. And guys, this week, don't worry, it's not a solo show. I do have a guest again. To be fair, everyone's been very positive about the solo shows, but I felt last week I was very, very tired. Unlike today, where I'm also very, very tired. But it's going to be a good show. We have a guest. It's been a while since today's guest has been on. The last time she was on was episode 50. But before this, I think, unless I'm wrong, maybe she's on since episode 50. You know what? I'm rambling. 50, she was definitely on. But it's been a long time since she's been on solo. And I should get her on solo more often because whenever she's on, the numbers pump up. So we won't be talking about apocalypse films this week because as she is part of the power couple, we need to have her lovely man on as well. So we're going to talk about something a little bit different tonight. But please welcome back for the first time in at least a little while. It's Gabby Van Kuylenberg. Welcome back, Gabby.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
I wanted to make a joke about how much I respect you, but I feel like I've really wrung that one dry. So.
Well, I was actually going to comment on the fact and just say, like, you know, or that when I'm on the ratings go up, I can't help it that I'm popular. It's not my fault.
I watched that the other night, Mean Girls. That flick still holds up. There were a couple of lines in there I was like, oh, but for the most part, pretty solid flick still.
Yeah. Now that I work at a school, like, the R word, definitely can't say that. But
Yeah, it wasn't even actually that jumped out at me because I'd forgotten about it until Michael was on and he did his whole Mean Girls monologue and then he said it and then didn't realize he said it. But even when I think it's the Japanese students are talking and they use the N word, I was like,
oh,
whoa.
yeah.
Like and it's in subtitles. I know it was. You know what?
Was it like N word, please?
Yeah. Ending in an A. It wasn't a hard ER, but I just don't think.
And still, that's not.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that.
I don't think you can get away with that. But that was the only thing that really dated the flick for me. Otherwise, like I know the R word. Obviously, people aren't. Wow, what a political start to this show. I know the R word is. We shouldn't be using it, and I'm not being like, why can't we use it anymore? Like, no, we shouldn't be using it. But it didn't hit me as it probably would have hit me hard if it wasn't for the N words in that movie. That definitely took my gaze. But how are you, Gabby? As I said, it's been a minute since I've had you on, and definitely a long time since I've had you on by yourself.
Yeah, I know it feels a little bit weird, but also I'm a bit of an independent woman, so I like to shine on my own. I like shining with Andre too. He's great, but I feel like it's been a minute since it's just been me and you chatting movies, shooting the shit, as they say. So, and
we spoke for almost an hour before we started recording, and it's almost 9 p.m. at night, which doesn't sound late until you remember that we've both been up since before 6. Because I think I messaged you this morning at 6, but here's the link for tonight.
Yeah, we're both super keen.
Yeah.
Look, it's been a while, but
April is the last time you and Andre are on, just the two of you. So episode 44, and this is episode 58.
August. Yeah. But I'm excited. And when I heard that you had done a soundtrack episode with David and his brother, who I'm forgetting his name, I'm really sorry.
It's Matt.
I see. Matt is the name I had in my head, and I didn't want to have it wrong. So apologies going out to Matt right now. But yeah, when I listened to the episode, you guys were talking about, and I think also your episode, your crossover episode, with Midnight Terrors and We Love Horror.
Oh, what a fun episode that was! What a ridiculous episode that was. Like nothing got achieved. It was a lot of fun.
I really enjoyed it, but something that kept coming up was wanting to involve yourself in the conversation, enjoying talking about movies and what you like about movies, and listening to David and Matt's episode the whole time. I was like, oh yeah, me too, and I love that part too, and just wanting to join in on the conversation. And have been part of, like, being a guest on the podcast, I've spoken a lot of times about how much, music is an influence on
Of
me in
course.
terms of, like, the movie and how much I enjoy it, and, even going outside movies, I've spoken about going to, like, concerts where there's, like, the orchestra and stuff like that, and I find that just, like, so epic and so fun. So I definitely, as soon as I heard them doing it, I was like, "Sorry, I will be also doing that, and that will be that."
No, absolutely. And we're at the point with the show now where I've told all of my guests like independently. I was like, guys, you can start. Like if you want to do the show, like 'cause, this is a little bit behind the scenes. Probably would have been good for me to talk about it on the episode about podcasting, but I never got to it. I set the topics, but and it's now a lot looser. I'm like, guys, if you have an idea of something you want to do, like, let me know. We can just make that the focus of the episode. And one thing I tell everyone, and you'll agree with this, hopefully, Gabby, because you're privy to all of the group messages. I always tell people like, thank you for everything. If you don't want to do it anymore, that's fine. I understand. Like you've given up so much time. Like I'm always like telling people they don't have to do the show anymore. Like that's
Oh, yeah, there's definitely not a gun to anybody's head, but I feel like everyone that you do have on the show genuinely wants to be there. It's not, like, out of obligation,
yeah,
um,
absolutely agreed.
and
Do agree. Yeah.
I don't like I and you can't, and if they are, as a listener and like someone who participates, it definitely doesn't feel that way from either side. So, um, yeah, I like it's a really fun experience, and like getting to talk about things like movies. I know you've said previously that in some workplaces you haven't been really able to chat movies with many people, and I feel that now. Like there's a lot of movies that like I reference during my conversations at work that it just goes over people's heads, and like
It's just
it's
what a
it just
waste of a great reference, you know?
right, it hurts my heart a little bit, and even today, this is really like the funniest thing, but like it's like the funniest non-funny thing that's like just happened. Like people weren't intending to be funny, um, but for some reason, I said something about Anthony Hopkins, and a girl I work with, she's like, "Oh, is he hot?" And I was like, "I don't know. Have you seen Silence of the Lambs?" She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, like Hannibal Lecter." She's like, "Oh, no, so he's not hot then." Like, I don't know.
But did
If
you
you
think she called
find,
him Anthony Hopkins? Like, she's
I
like,
don't
"Ooh."
know. I have no idea. I'm like, unless you find like sexy, then no, it's not like not hot. And she's like, "Oh no." And it's like all day I just kept kept quoting Silence of the Lambs. She's like, "Stop it, it's not funny. Like I thought he was someone else." Um
I think I don't know if I can top that, but I can come pretty close. When I was a teenager, we were talking about like different like like just like kind of gross alert. Like when you're a 16-year-old boy, you're gross, okay? You talk about women like who's hot and stuff. So gross alert, I apologize. But I was hanging out with my friends one day, we're talking about like different like celebrity women who are like hot and sexy and cute and stuff like that. And we were like trying to, I don't know why it came up. We are trying to do each other and like come up with more obscure ones. And I had a name in my head, but I could not. I had no idea what she looked like. But I'm like, oh, they won't know this, so it'd be sweet. I'm like, what about Liza Minnelli? Have you heard of her? And then like years later, I figured out who she was, and I was like, oh no.
oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Like to be fair, Cabaret era Liza Minnelli is cute, but like at that point, she was already like in her 50s, I think, and
Yeah.
definitely not the teenage dream. Um,
No.
but yeah, so I don't know if it's
That's
as good as
really
Anthony
funny.
Hopkins, but it's definitely on the same level.
Well, yeah, I mean I'm sure she wore fishnets in her time, so
Definitely during
that's
Cabaret, of course.
yeah, for sure. So I guess you could get away with it. It's a bit of a niche one, but I don't know anyone who thinks cannibalism is sexy. Not that Anthony Hopkins is a cannibal, but I feel like a lot of the characters he plays are a little creepy in a sense. So um, yeah, probably not on the most sexiest man list. Although I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum, so if you're into Anthony Hopkins, then go off.
if you go you have to go early Anthony Hopkins' career. There was like a period we had like a Robin Hood style goatee. Like he had like a little mustache, and he was quite trim
Yeah.
and like had not quite a comb over because he wasn't balding at that point, but like just like a very like kind of
Mm,
neat 50s style like coif. And
sure.
yeah, like he was I
I'm
wouldn't
thinking
compare him to modern hotties, but he was a good looking guy.
he's
Uh,
not Zac Efron, but, you know.
yeah, no one's Zephron, man. You can't compete
Yeah,
with the
true, he
with the
is.
big Z. Um, I'm just gonna throw out nicknames for everyone today. I've decided. Speaking of movies, which because this is a movie podcast,
Mm.
I don't know if we actually talked about this on the show. We talked about it briefly off the show, but I did finally watch Steel Magnolias, which is a film that
Yes.
you recommended quite strongly.
I'm so glad. So, so glad. Um, because after listening to Maddie's description,
Mm.
I was like, yeah, that top mine, definitely. Um, but
She's a planner though. She won't come into an episode without at least three like vision boards done. Like she's
yeah,
very
and I love that. I love, and I'm a visual learner. Like, so I'm envisioning as because I listen to podcasts usually like while I'm driving, and so I'm envisioning what she's come up with, and I'm like, that would be so cool. Why don't I do that? And
She
then I
drew a
just don't
picture
do
on
it.
one of them. She drew a picture of me and her. I think for the apocalypse one, she drew a picture of me and her like in the apocalypse, which I thought was very cute.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Um,
That was like that was like the one no nonsense Maddie episode. 'Cause if you listen to Maddie's episodes, like they're very chaotic and funny and silly. The Apocalypse one she took very seriously because like that's her favorite genre. So she's like, I've got no time to mess around. We've got to take this seriously.
yeah, she inspired me a lot to watch more apocalypsey movies because
Mm.
the ones that I had in my head of what ones I liked the most were all like very like silly, funny ones. And then I'd never watched the Planet of the Apes movies, so
Oh, so good.
I watched them and I was like, wow, these are really good. Like,
Mm,
okay, I can,
really
yeah,
good.
I can definitely see where she's coming from with that. But back to Steel Magnolias, I reference it all the time, and we have this thing in our office at work, and it's like the quote of the week. And someone actually put up, um, "If you have nothing nice to say, come sit by me." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, still magnolias!" And again, of course, no one understood it because apparently someone else said it first, and I was just like, "No, actually, it's still magnolias." And they're like, "Oh, I've never heard of it," and I was like, "Just look up the cast." And then, like, three people at the same time was like, "Oh, it's got Dolly Parton in it." I'm like, "Exactly, so go watch it."
After I watched that movie, I had to was like sending you like reel after reel of Dolly Parton like cracking jokes on talk shows. I got very obsessed.
She's so funny, and she's so like quick witted as well.
She so is like she's really switched on. And then the other movie I watched, which is another Gabby recommendation, was Pretty Woman.
Oh, so good.
Loved it. Like could not fault it. I didn't have a single bad thing to say about it.
I just love that movie, and I think, like, Julia Roberts just has this je ne sais quoi. I just love everything about her in that movie. She's gorgeous, and her laugh is infectious, her smile's infectious, and, like, it really I mean, like, I don't because I think there was one movie she did before that where,
Still
like,
Magnolias, wasn't it?
um, I think yeah, it may have been Steel Magnolias may have come first, but, um there was another movie she did something about pizza.
Oh, Mystic Pizza. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that one
Good
she did
call. That's a
first.
deep cut. Like that. I haven't seen that one because I think I said at the time I wasn't a huge Julia Roberts fan, but I am now after those two flicks. I'm like, all right, give me the Julia Roberts films.
Right, so, yeah, so, like, I haven't seen that one, but I knew that I think she did that one first. But, like, this one, I feel like Pretty Woman, I feel really, like, kicked off the stardom, and then it was,
Yeah.
like, flick after flick after like, at least 1 or 2 big ones every year.
And it
Um
makes sense. Like watching those flicks, I
Yeah,
was like, oh, I get it. Like I didn't get it's like I didn't get it and now I get it. Like it makes sense.
yeah.
It's just like just the light bulb went off. And definitely more Pretty Woman than Steel Magnolias. Like obviously she's wonderful in that, but she plays quite a small role compared
A
to
smaller role and just a different role too.
yeah, and that role, of course, obviously is quite pivotal for the story.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
like she's also surrounded by five, six. 8 legendary actresses. Like, so
Right,
she's
and
kind of
she's
fresh.
just
Yeah.
yeah, she's just starting off, and then you, like in Pretty Woman, even though Richard Gere at that time is, like, quite seasoned,
Mm.
um, she steals every scene she's in.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and I don't remember the actor's name, but the guy that is, like, the manager of the hotel, who's the same guy as the security guard in, The Princess Diaries, he's so cute.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I know his name. It's like Hector Elizondo or something, I
I
wanna
mean,
say.
I'll believe you,
I think it
I'm
was
sure.
Hector Elizondo because I was thinking of Cease, the guy from
Oh,
Max
yes,
Cable's Big Move.
Max Keeble. No, he's the
Yeah,
hairstylist.
yeah. I remember I think I chose to watch that film based on you saying he was in it, and I thought he was gonna be in it way more than he was.
No, he's in it for probably all of, like, 6
I was like,
minutes, but
he's like the second main character after Richard Gere and Julia Roberts, but but that's okay. It was still good. Um, and Jason Alexander is terrifying in that movie.
oh, he's the worst, he's such a
So
creep.
creepy.
Yeah, just a slime ball, but, like, I
It
feel
was
like
Hector Elizondo. I just looked it up. I'm a
oh,
genius, guys. If you listen to this podcast, for whatever like cred I lost in Gabby's '80s episode, I've brought back by remembering Hector
it's
Elizondo.
it's come straight back, yep.
I looked it up as
Um
well. The last time you were on this show solo was episode 16. Um,
oh, wow.
yeah, it was called Gabarinth, and it was the '80s episode where I lost my cred because I'd seen one of 5 films you talked about.
Oh, so it's the comeback episode.
Yeah, I'm back, guys. I'm back. I was here last week, and I'm
Yay.
back again. So if there's one consistent in this episode, it's that I will always be back. It's so dumb.
Anyways,
I should try and get someone else to host the show one week without me being there, just to confuse the listeners. Like, they're like, why is Gabby hosting
like,
the show?
you
Where's
should.
James? Was she a teenage film snob? Um,
No, I feel like I was watched a lot of trash as a teenager, as most teenage girls tend to do.
that's okay. That's par for the course. That's what you got to do.
That's correct.
Oh my
Some might
goodness.
even show up in a list that I might be mentioning today.
Oh, that's a little
Mm.
teaser for later in the show, guys. Um, have you been watching anything recently? I know, 'cause I haven't been to the movies since I
um,
saw Spider Verse, and I saw that very late. I haven't seen Oppenheimer or Mission Impossible or Barbie yet. I'm
but
hoping,
I
following the
saw
tooth removal, I will be able to go to the movies and just chill.
yeah, I saw Barbie on like the weekend that it was the first weekend it was out.
Nice.
And I went, yeah, Andre and I saw that, and I really enjoyed it.
And yeah, it's
Um,
very anti-men. I believe it's pushing the feminist agenda, and only women should see it. Is that correct?
okay, Ben Shapiro.
I'm seeing all this stuff online now. I'm just like, oh my god, like, is that what we've become? Like, as a
Uh,
species?
I mean, like, it
Like, it looks
definitely
wonderful.
yeah, like, it definitely wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, like, to me, I thought, like and I hadn't really watched I didn't know like, if many previews had come out, but, like, I was just really keen to watch it, because I knew that there was, like, going to be some, like, themes of feminism and stuff like that, so I was already keen, but then I thought, like, it might bleed into the comedy side a little bit more. And there were definitely funny elements to it. Like, there's a joke in there about like, and this won't like give it away, but they're like, oh, I just had a sudden urge to, really go into in-depth talking about Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League.
I heard there was a Zack Snyder's Justice League reference. That's funny.
Yeah. And like that one, like both Andre and I cracked up. Like it was really funny. We went and saw it in gold class.
Mm.
But Andre did say to me, he's like, look, I was really like worried there for the first sort of 15 to 20 minutes. I was getting actually quite annoyed that I'd spent all this money on dinner. Because like we'd gotten that like deal where you get like the meals brought out to you for a certain
Mm.
like I think it's like $110 or
It's
something.
very expensive. I did that last year for my birthday. I went to Black Panda, Black Panther.
With Jack Black in it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I went to a Black Panther in gold class by myself, and I had them bring food to me all the afternoon. It was great
Oh, what a king! Yep.
because I will
But
go to
yeah,
gold class by myself. I don't care.
yeah, you can like it
Treat
doesn't need to be a
yourself.
shared thing. Exactly. But he's like, I was really worried that I'd spent all that money on dinner and it was just going to be a movie telling me how shit I am.
Yeah.
But like, it's not one dimensional like that at all. I think it's great. I think it's definitely, it's not a kids movie. So like when we
No.
went there, um, in gold class, because I think they've got like 4 or 5 rows, and then potentially, um, in those rows, like 4 double seats in each one. So there's about, I don't know, 20 or 25 seats in the whole thing. Anyway, out of those seats, I think maybe a third were like kids under the age of 12.
Mm.
And they also, like, they were all really well behaved. It's not like, ugh, kids. It was more just that, like, I felt bad that it wasn't aimed at them. So if I was their age, I'm not sure how I'd go sitting down for that long and not being entertained. Um,
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a kids' film. Like, it was never marketed like a kids' film. Like, all the trailers I've seen, I'm like, oh, this is for like young people can enjoy it, but it's
mm,
definitely a tongue-in-cheek kind of commentary on that. Like,
yeah.
it's not going to be like the Malibu Stacy movie where there's like, "Don't ask me, I'm just a girl." Like, it's not going to be that. Like,
Literally. Yeah,
um,
so I think, like, it was good, and I think it's got something for everyone. Like, it's got something for, um, young girls, your sort of tween into early teenagers aged girls, and then,
mm,
your end of adolescence, like, into your, like, early 20s girls, and then, as you move forward, a lot of women will be able to relate to at least some part of it, and not
mm,
just women, but, like, femmes, AFAB people, just, anyone really could relate to it, and then, like, if you're your typical the stereotypical, like, cisgendered straight man, like, it's not the point is not to shit on you. The point is for you to realize, like, this is how women are, like, typecast in almost every movie that you're a fan of.
mm.
So the shoe is now on the other foot. The point is for you to now see this and be like, oh, okay. Like, I see what's going on here. Okay. The point is not that we think that women should be in charge of everything and men should just be like, as accessories or anything. It's really, I mean, like, I wouldn't hate it, but it would also be quite boring after a
I
while.
think
So,
being an accessory is underrated. Like, if I could just go in as a trophy husband, it's like, oh my god, that'd be amazing.
oh yeah, like, I've thought about it, but unfortunately, Andre's still studying, so I've got to wait a while.
You got to bring home the bread.
Yeah. And I don't think both of us are going to be, or when he's graduated, he's going to be in, like, the public service, as am I. So it's not really a bajillionaire type job, unfortunately.
Sucker, why don't you just drop out of uni like me and earn peanuts? I don't earn peanuts anymore, but now I earn cashews, baby. Um, it's a step up from
Hey,
peanuts.
they're expensive at Coles.
Oh, are they? Everything's expensive, guys. I went to the shops the other day. Here's a real angry tangent. That has nothing to do with the movies. I went to the grocery store the other day to buy cheese slices. There were 12 slices of cheese in the packet, and they wanted to charge me $8.50. And I was like,
What?
"How dare you? There's no way I'm spending that much money on cheese slices." Um,
What were they feeding the animal that produced the cheese?
Gold, evidently.
Must be. Oh my gosh,
And it wasn't like fancy cheese because I like,
that's highway
I'm
robbery.
not adverse to, a block of halloumi that I can, fry off and put on my fried eggs and stuff in the morning. Like, I'm not adverse to that. I'll be fancy, but this was just regular cheese slices for my 3-year-old. Actually, she's not even 3 yet, but she will be soon.
Yeah, that's not it. That is
Yeah,
not the
that
one.
was a lot of money. So, um, but anyway, I don't know how we got into that. I apologize for going on a cheese tangent. Um, but if anyone wants to talk about cheese, new podcast coming soon. I was a teenage cheese snob. Uh, Pretty much the
I
same concept.
still
We just do
am.
lists of our favorite cheese: hard versus soft, goat versus cow, um, vegan cheese will make an appearance. And what's better, shredded cheese on a pizza or eating shredded cheese from the bag? The answer, of course, is from the
Oh.
bag. But I don't want to spoil too much of this new show. Anyway, there's my dumb part of the show done. Tick. I've done something stupid on the show. Good. Well, that sounds awesome. I do want to see Barbie, and I said to Tina, I was like, "Look, when I get my wisdom teeth out, I'm going to be off for a while, for about a week. So why don't we like get someone to look after Zoe, and we can go see Barbie?" And she was like, "That sounds
Yeah.
great, but won't you be in pain?" I'm like, "Yeah, but movies. You know how important movies are to me. Almost more important than food. So let's go to the movies." So we'll see. Hopefully, I get to see Barbie soon, and then Oppenheimer. I don't know when I'm going to see. Like,
We've booked it. We booked tickets, but
I
like
know IMAX. You were telling me like it has to
has
be
to be
IMAX.
IMAX. So we are seeing it in September. So I guess like hopefully, I mean, it's like, oh, avoid spoilers, but like it's a true story. So
Yeah.
like I know what happens anyway. So it's not so much of a big deal. If it was something like, to the scale of like Endgame or something, then I would have tough luck trying to avoid spoilers. But
Oh yeah,
luckily
I'm
for
like
me.
behind on stuff, and I'm like I got spoiled on Secret Invasion. I've only watched services. I know all the big plot twists now. I'm just like, it's part of
Yeah.
growing up, man. Like if you like, yeah, I know you don't have kids, but you've got life, you got stuff going on. Like if you've got other things going on, like things are gonna get spoiled. Like at least
Yeah,
Oppenheimer, as you mentioned, is a true story. So
that's it.
I heard I don't know if you heard this fact. It's a pretty interesting fact. Is that the IMAX reel of Oppenheimer, if you unwind it in its entirety, it's 11 miles, and it takes the length of the movie to walk 11 miles. So you could either watch Oppenheimer or you could walk it.
What was it intentional or just like
No, it's
a
just like because there's someone told Chris Nolan, like, oh, there you go, interesting. I don't think he cared that much to be honest. He's like, hey, I'm talking about a really cool movie. Um,
yeah,
they,
anyway, cool, don't care.
yeah, they're saying that this is his best. Like that's the review. Like a lot of people
Oh.
saying it's his best movie.
And there's quite a few for it to be measured against, so
Mm-hmm. Guy's got a pretty strong record, including some underrated ones. Like not enough people talk about The Prestige, but that movie is wonderful.
I love that movie.
So good.
Speaking of Nolan, I helped run some trivia after school tonight,
Oh, cool.
and there was a question about there have been like X amount of Batmans, like you get a point for naming each one,
Hmm.
and like so many people are like, oh, what are their names? And I'm like, I know. Like, did I write the question? Yes, but also like I still knew the answer.
I did that in lockdown. I did trivia with Nick, Josh, Josh's partner Beck, and Tina. I was like, hey, like we can't go anywhere. Do you guys want to do trivia? If I just do movie trivia, would you like to do that? And like, yeah, let's do it. So I did like 3 hours worth of trivia multiple times. And well, you were there for my Halloween trivia at work. Like it was that level
Oh
of
my gosh.
difficulty.
Okay, well, great. So no one enjoyed it.
No, well, the good thing was that everyone had their own strengths. So I did like
Ah, okay.
a Harry Potter round, and Tina really excelled there. I did a Lord of the Rings round, and Nick was very good there. I did a horror movie round, and Josh was very good, and Josh and Becca were good at that. So I did that. But one of my questions was name 5 people who played Batman. Um, and at that point, I think it was pre Robert Pattinson at that point. Um, and people were like 5. Like they're trying to think of, and I think there's been like 7. There's actually been
Well,
close
like
to 10.
I think there's been 11, including Robert Pattinson. So if I think of five, Clooney, Val Kilmer, uh,
Keaton,
Affleck,
Affleck,
Keaton, and
Chris,
Bale.
Christian Bale, and then you go Rob Pattinson. Then you can go Kevin Conroy, who was the animated series. Lewis, what's Lewis's? Adam West from the '60s.
Yeah,
Um,
see, all those ones that I've named, like I've physically seen theirs, and like I don't think I've ever watched the animated one. So
oh, it's so
like,
good, so good. Like there's a couple of movies he did, but he did like the TV show. The series is great. It's so weird because it's an animated show, and you're like, oh, well, it's for kids, so it's going to be funny, and it does have funny moments at times, but it's like a drama. Like it's an animated drama for kids, and it's so good. So
oh
yeah.
yeah, well, like I've been watching a few animated shows recently, so maybe I'll add that one to the list.
Going back to your review of Barbie, and you were talking about how like the kids were just not really entertained. Um, I had a similar. I don't know if I told you this story, but years ago, before I lived out near Frankston, um, I Tina and I went to the movies with our friend Josh, and we went and saw SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water, the second SpongeBob film. We were the
Yeah,
only adults in there aside from the parents of like 12 kids in the cinema, and no one was laughing except for the 3 of us. Like we were in hysterics.
that's
And
so
it was just
awesome.
another example of like this wasn't written for kids. Like this is written for adults, and we were losing our minds. And I think everyone was worried because just three strange adults were laughing the whole time at SpongeBob. But yeah, jokes on them. It was good. That's all I got to say about that one. So, um, but yeah, Oppenheimer. I don't know. We're talking about Batman. I don't know where I was trying to cut back. I can remember. That's cool. I would have liked to attend that trivia, especially if it was movie focused. I love me some movie trivia.
I
Um,
think you definitely would have done well.
yeah, we talked. I think we talked this on the show before, but I can't speak, guys. My mouth is failing me. But back when we worked together, I remember once you called me into a meeting. You're like, "Hey, can I borrow you for a second?" I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
is everything okay?" And they're like, "Yeah." Who's the guy in this movie? And I'm like, you're talking to a staff member. I was like, "Oh, what was the movie? Like, what was the movie?" And I'm like, "Oh, is it this person?" You're like, "Yep, all right, that's all I needed." So,
Yeah, because like, I couldn't figure out the name of the movie, and then I was like, "Oh, it's this or," and then you're like, "Could be this or this. Did this happen?" And then we're like, "Yep, like, yeah, it's that."
I didn't get calls like that at work anymore. Like they stopped when you left. So no,
Oh.
no one relies on me. Oh, actually, you know what? Some of the team leaders at work will ask me what I've watched, and they'll tell me things they've watched. So I'm building slowly. It's just not the cult that I want it to be yet. So we'll get there. Hey man, we should talk about your list. We should tell people what your list is. I think we touched on it briefly, but because Gabby is here solo this evening, instead of talking about Apocalypse, we're going to wait till Andre comes back because I'm sure he'll have a pretty fantastic list as well. But you mentioned before, Gabby, that you wanted to do soundtracks. So we're taking our second foray into the audio medium, and we're going to talk about some movie soundtracks tonight. Is that right?
That is correct.
That is correct. That's a little Billy Madison reference for you.
Yes, yes, I got that one.
That's one that Tina and I do to each other all the time. We don't. Let me
I say
clarify. We don't
55.
physically represent it, but we drop that line.
Yeah, we
Uh,
always say, "That is correct," and then the kids are just like, "Okay, freak." Like,
these kids, man.
it's before their time.
How am I gonna reach these kids? That's a South Park reference. It's references galore, guys. I'm really working hard to let you know that I watch things. Um, I'm stealing back the credit I lost on the last Gabby solo episode. I'm like, ha cha cha cha, look at all the things I can say. Um, and I know what makes Gabby laugh, and I haven't spoken to Gabby for like audibly in a long time. We've texted a lot, but not so much audio. So I'm like, I just need to get those validating laughs back. Um,
I'm
so
happy to provide them.
I appreciate it. So you got your soundtrack list. So we'll dive into it in a second. Are you doing movie scores? Are you doing soundtrack with songs? Are you doing a bit of both? What's kind of your
A
what's good?
little bit of both.
Oh, I
So I've
like
got a
that.
couple of soundtracks and a couple of scores.
Excellent. And now, famously on the show before, you've told us about your Hans Zimmer voyages. You've been to see Hans Zimmer in concert. I think you said at least once, maybe twice. I can't remember. And one of them you were even at the same one that Andre was, but it was before you were dating. It was just happenstance.
Yeah, so I think I really developed like a love for scores. I think I've always enjoyed them, but like when I really started paying attention and like focusing on them and looking at them past the movie, like, okay, I've seen the movie now, like whatever. But actually listening to the soundtracks or scores after watching the movie.
Mm,
Um and like probably I was like 19 or 20 or so. I'm nearly 28, so a little while ago. Um, because I didn't realize how much it impacted my um experience watching the movie, my emotions and like how I was moving through the story as much as it did. And then, we'd looked at similar stuff like in like psychology classes and even doing media at school. And you do that's something that they do focus on is like how much the music is impacting the story, but I didn't really take too much notice of it past then until I was a little bit older. And listening to the music outside the movie, if you can still picture what is going on in that movie without even having it in front of you, like that's how you know the music is
mm-hmm.
doing its job. If it can transport you back to where it was playing in the movie, then like it's succeeding. it's doing what it's meant to do. So I think it's really important. And I think also like, some people listen to music to relax or to get pumped up. That's why there's so many different styles, I guess. But like I feel like sound oh my gosh, get it out.
Yeah, we're both in the same
Today,
position.
Junior.
Before six. Another Billy Madison reference. I love it.
But what I meant was is just that like a movie soundtrack can do all of those things. Like it can make you feel relaxed, it can make you feel pumped up, it can make you feel anxious, it can make you feel like, you're in love or like romantic, it can make
Hmm.
you feel, hysterical, like crazy, and it can also make you feel like really upset. So, but all in one soundtrack,
Lots of
like
slide whistles in those comedic ones. Just like whoop.
so like, there's it can all just in one soundtrack, it can make you do that. And that's sort of different to an album where generally albums will have a journey or a story, but it's all a similar theme. Whereas a movie, it's kind of like a roller coaster where it's
Mm.
up and down. So that, yeah, I really enjoy that aspect of it.
And songs have the crutch of lyrics. Like if you don't know how to feel,
Yeah.
the lyrics will tell you. Um,
Well, that's it.
it's funny, like you mentioned the gym. Well, you didn't say the gym specifically to get pumped up, and like I'm like clearly I haven't been to the gym in a long time. You just need to take one look at me. In fact, like I don't know if you noticed before, my beard is so long right now. I do look homeless. Um, but
Same.
yeah, well, your beard's massive. You always have had a really impressive one though. So um, I
Same.
but when I did go to the gym, I used to like it sounds silly, but I would use superhero music. Like I would use like
Yeah.
the Daredevil music from the Netflix show is really good. I would use like um the Flash music, obviously. That's a given, I think, for anyone who knows me. Supergirl, like the TV theme song, was really like uplifting. The Kick-Ass score was really so. Yeah, there's some really good like It definitely has that effect. There's some great music out there, and it really does like uh, what am I trying to say? Everything Gabby just said. That's what I'm gonna just said. Everything Gabby.
Well,
She said
yeah,
it better than
like
I can.
as I've said, like I've listened to like some soundtracks like on the way to work or like to make me feel better. Like again, like when I was going to the gym fairly regularly, I'd listen to, like, if I wasn't listening to a podcast, I'd listen to something like movie related while I'm there, because those songs tend to go for like a longer period of time. I would use the time to be like, okay, I'll do this for this amount of time. So when this song finishes, I can get off the stair climber, and it would
Mm.
be like like a song that's going to really pump me up, so that I don't feel like it's going for as long. So even if the song that I'm listening to, and for a lot of Hans Zimmer's scores, like those songs are quite long, or those like that piece of music is quite long, it doesn't feel that long because it's changing the tempo a lot. So I feel
Mm.
like we're sort of moving at a pace that's normal. But if I said, oh, okay, just chuck a 12-minute song on, would you? And then put on the
Well,
same one,
I
I'd be like,
would,
oh
but most
god,
people wouldn't.
like, well, yeah. That just reminds me of like when I was younger, my dad would be like, "Oh, I'll play 5 songs of mine, you play 5 songs of yours," and then he'd put on some
He's just put
Pink
on
Floyd
Rush
thing.
2112, which is a 24-minute song.
Yeah, or he'd put like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, like one song goes for like 11 minutes. And I'm like,
Mm.
let's just put Destiny's Child on, please. Um, which is, like duality of man. Um, but yeah, so I think I just really am obsessed with listening to movie soundtracks and like coming up with a list. Like I would put one down and then I'd have to take one off and put one down, have to take one off. And so I end up having so many honorable mentions that it's like it's not really a list that's like this is my definite list, but this is like these are ones that I really, really love but could be interchangeable at any point.
Well, as we say on the show, it's an unfair concept. Pick five. Like it's not a fair show at all. So we're very aware of that. Speaking of Stair Machines and Hans Zimmer, because you mentioned them both in the same sentence, my go-to Stair Machine song was a Hans Zimmer track. It was the Wonder Woman theme from Batman vs Superman, which is an absolute banger. Um,
Ooh, okay, yep.
that was actually my go-to any part of the gym song. Like that one is just like it hits hard, and like that is 5.5 to 6 minutes. I can't remember exactly, but My
It's a
muscles
good,
will. The
yeah.
next time I listen to it, I'll tense up like, oh my god, remember when you were going up the stair machine to Wonder Woman?
Da-na-na-na.
So good. Although I would hit the stair machine for like 40 minets at a time. Like I was insane back in the
God, you're
day.
an absolute weapon. I could do it for
Oh,
like
I
5
was. I'm
minutes.
not anymore. Like now I'm like just the sack you put your weapons in. Um, yeah. Alrighty. That's enough silliness. Let's jump into your list, Gabrielle Van Kuylenberg. Um, what's number 5? Hit me with it.
So number 5 is Greece.
Oh, what a great choice.
Yeah, I feel like
It is the
when
word.
yeah, Greece is the word. I feel like you can't talk about movie soundtracks or like movie
Or
soundtracks.
do you mean like the Greek national anthem? Just confirming.
I wouldn't know it.
Yeah, neither do I. My wife is Greek, so
It's just oppa over and over again.
you just offended a nation, but that's okay. They don't listen. I
Apologies.
have zero Greek listeners, unless you count my wife. And she doesn't listen either, so never mind. I have zero Greek listeners.
Um, but I feel like you can't talk about movie soundtracks without talking about like musicals,
Hmm.
and so anything musical related, like those songs. I mean, Greece. I don't think I've ever been to a wedding that Greece hasn't like a Greece
That mega
mega
mix.
mix has not come on, or even like a school disco where it hasn't come on, or a party where it's at a 21st or an 18th, or any party. A Greece mega mix will come on every single time, and every single time, it doesn't matter how old the people are that are in attendance. Everyone sings it. Everyone runs to the dance floor. Everybody enjoys it.
The only problem with
Um,
the Greek, oh no, the Greece mega mix. The Greek mega mix is what I got from my fish and chip shop. It's really delicious. I'm firing on all cylinders, guys. The Greece mega mix. The one problem is that they censor. They take like the less fun parts of Grease Lightning. They put the
oh
fun ones out.
yeah,
Like all like the dirty lines get cut. And it's like
like
no. Like keep the
like
sexy stuff in.
the pussy wagon part.
Yeah, yeah. Pussy wagon.
The
Get a lot of
Chicks
tit in.
Cream.
Like
Yeah.
yeah. And I guess it's for the parties. Do you think we're nearing the end of the Grease Mega Mix era? Because I feel like
Hmm.
do kids these days even know what it is anymore? Like that flick is 50 years old almost, if not already. I
Um.
think it was 78, wasn't it, Grease?
Yes, 78.
My goodness, if I'm right, like I'm
No, you
really
are.
old.
I only so just because I have like the track list in front of me, I scrolled down and it said original 1978 release.
Wow, I'm just all over it today.
Um, but yeah, I think like millennials and potentially the generation after, and it'd only be like the early years in that. Which what are they like Gen Z? I don't know. I don't know
No,
anything.
now well, actually, was I think Zoe's generation is Generation Alpha now. I don't know. I've lost track. She might not even be
Right.
Alpha. She might be too young for Alpha. I don't know.
God, it's all a
Why did they have to
bit.
start at Gen X? It was such a dumb idea, guys. I know it sounded cool, but you really limited where we could go.
Yeah, I've got no idea. But I think like it's quite still big with like millennials.
Hmm.
And then you'd have Gen Z like after that, I think. And like my sister's 8 years younger than I am, and she knows all the songs and she gets around it. So I think people her age, she's
Well, she
19,
knows it because she's in the
20.
house with a millennial and a. Is your
That's
dad? Is
a
your dad a
bit. No,
baby boomer?
he's a boomer, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be. I don't want to offend anyone
Fucking
who finds that
boomer.
term. Oh, boomer. No, fair enough. But like, I wonder. I wonder. I'm trying to think. Like, my niece is about to turn 14, which is terrifying because I remember she was a baby, and I wonder whether she knows the Grease Mega Mix.
I
Um,
think it definitely depends on like what you grow up around, because like I know like a lot of my favorite
Probably
music
because
is
it's David's daughter, and as you heard in the last episode,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
quite big on the music. So probably. Um,
But yeah, I definitely think it's like what you grow up around, because like the reason why I got so into Grease is because like growing up my mom loved it, and then like I'd watch it a lot with like her family, and then you have like you watch it on sleepovers, and everyone's
yeah, me and the boys were
mum
all watching Grease on sleepovers.
braiding each other's hair, and
I was like,
Sandra
hey,
Dee.
they're singing Beauty School Dropout. Leave it. Like,
Shush, 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 shush.
You
Um,
better not step on Frenchie like she's great. Actually, I loved Frenchie the first time. I was like, she's
Frenchie
the
was the
best.
best.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I think it definitely depends who you grow up around, and that's why like it'll influence your music choices or your music tastes anyway.
Mm.
Um, but it's definitely, I think, on its a slow way out, just because there's a lot of stuff in there that is not PC anymore. So,
I haven't
like,
watched it in ages. I was just thinking, like, is there like, is it unpaid? I know they're talking about like teen pregnancy and stuff, and like there's bullying, but I can't remember. I guess,
there's teen pregnancy, but also like in Summer Nights, like, did she put up a fight? And it's like, ew,
yeah, that's a good
shut
point.
up.
Which is
Like,
funny because that's the real love song of the movie.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
what is your go-to jam from the Grease soundtrack?
I think, oh, like, it depends what the vibe is. Like,
Mm.
if I want to like really belt out by myself in the car, "Hopelessly Devoted to You," I
Ooh,
love.
that is a diva track. That tracks. That is absolutely a Gabby
Yeah,
tune.
of course. But if it's just like singing with a bunch of people and we're just like, I actually really like "We Go Together"
Oh, I was
because
about to say like that is the underrated track. I love that song.
yeah, because it's got all the stupid words and like "Rama Lama Lama, shading dang dong,
Yeah, it's the
ching
50s. They didn't
chang
have real
chang
words.
chang
That is
chappa."
whatever. Just
Right, exactly.
just
So
drop a bunch of kitchen equipment, see what comes out. Like,
exactly, and like, I remember when I was in grade 6, for some reason at my primary school, like, they did this thing where every class had to do, like, a performance in front of assembly to a song, and it was like a dance or whatever. And one class did, I think the Grease Megamix, and, um,
that's amazing.
there was like a Sandy and a Danny, and it was a whole thing. And one of my friends was in that class, and all of the rest of us who were in assembly, like just sitting on the floor, we were all like laughing, and we just kept going Rama Lama Lama, like
I can tell you when I was in grade 6 at my grade 6 graduation, we did Grease songs as well. We did
yeah,
Summer Loving and Grease is the Word, and I was a Danny. Um,
hell yeah.
because at the time my voice hadn't broken, so I had some sweet
Perhaps.
pipes. No longer like I now these pipes are rusty, but back then I could carry a tune.
It's great, and like as I'm like reading the track list, like I even the songs that aren't like cast singing songs, so like, obviously like Grease Lightning and all that sort of stuff everyone knows. But things like Blue Moon, when they're
Mm,
at the like school dance, and Hound Dog, Born to Hand Drive.
yeah, that's a good one.
Um, like I love all those songs, and I like hearing them. I immediately think of Grease, even though I know like they weren't just made for Grease. Um, so yeah, I really love that movie.
It's great.
Um,
It's a good soundtrack, and I can't believe it didn't come up at all in the last soundtrack. I mean, obviously, like Matt and David doing scores, and I was just going with apparently comedy soundtracks for the most part. But Grease is a bit of a comedy, but no, that's a great one. I'm sorry, I can't stop thinking about how I want to call this episode Greek Megamix. Um,
I mean, you could.
yeah, but it doesn't fit with the scheme. I've got to like, I've committed to puns for the last 57 episodes. I've got to keep it going.
Well, I'm sure you'll find something to make it funny. If I mean, like, if this is your only material like so far, and we're however long in, I'm sure you'll come up with something.
That's true. I have been cracking wise since we started 40 minutes ago, 50 minutes ago. We can go for a while now. Uh, that's a great first pick, Gabby. And I want to say it's an obvious one, but no one else thought of it. So it's not that obvious. Uh,
Well, yeah.
it's a classic. What is next on your list of favorite soundtracks and scores?
So the next one is the Sister Act 1 and 2 soundtracks. Now I'm not sure if you've ever seen Sister Act.
I
Um,
haven't. I think we touched on this
oh,
maybe the last time, one of the first times you were on.
yeah.
So I think it was on one of your lists, and I haven't got around to it yet. Like not for any reason. I wasn't like anti Sister Act. I wasn't like protesting the movie or anything. Just it never came my way. So
Right, yeah. It's got such good songs on it, and, like, I just like, both the movies are really good, like, they're not it's not anything like huge epic movies, but they are really like, they make you feel nice,
mm.
and, um, like, there's very funny parts in it, and they've got like, it's got a great cast, like, Maggie Smith's in it, obviously Whoopi Goldberg, um, Kathy N is it Najimy?
Oh, from Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus, yeah.
Mm.
She's in both of them, like, they're just like, it's a really nice like, both of them are really nice movies, but one thing like, unfortunately, neither of the soundtracks are on Spotify, which really pisses me off because I really wanna, like, sing them in the car, and I can't I have to do it, like, on YouTube, and it's like, I'm not gonna pay for another premium service, I pay for so many things, I'm not
Mm.
gonna get YouTube Premium if the only reason is to listen to the Sister Act soundtrack, because, yeah, otherwise I would. I remember growing up, my cousins had the CD of, the Sister Act soundtrack, and we would play it all the time. The CD had, like, so many scratches on it because we'd play it so often. But, like, it's got some, like, great songs on there, so, like, uh, some Etta James on there, um Lady Soul, Dee Dee Sharp, um, Music Factory, like just a touch of love, just a touch
Yeah, I'm looking
of
at it right now.
love.
Obviously the one that I think of is Shout. That was always in the ads on TV.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, so, um, they have, like, "I will follow him."
oh,
Um,
they're doing Sister Act 3.
yeah, yeah, so I heard about that. But yeah, they have Shout obviously as well. Um My Guy, but, like, they change it to My God. So, essentially, like, the whole story is, like, there's, like, a lounge singer who is on the run from her, like, mobster boyfriend, because she sees him kill someone, and then, um they hide her out at a convent, and then and the lady who's, like, in charge, this like, the head sister, she's, she's like, "Alright, like, you're in the choir now," and the choir's really bad, and she sort of whips them into shape, and they get really good, and they start getting more and more people into the church, and, so it's like it's a nice story, but the songs are so catchy, and, like, I'm not religious, I wasn't brought up religious, but a lot of the songs, like, they feel so lovely and catchy, and
Mm.
it just makes me wanna go to church, and then the second movie,
I'm looking at the
like
second one right now, and it's Motown, it's gospel, it's like,
yes,
oh, it's killer. Like it's a fantastic soundtrack. Like I get it. That makes so much sense.
exactly. So, like, when, in the second one, when they do "Oh Happy Day," I don't know why, but I just get emotional, I just start crying, and, like, so I can't, like, every single time I hear it, like, I'll be in the car, I'm like, "Oh, I really wanna listen to this song," and, like, towards the end, I can't even sing because I'm crying, so I can't listen to it
Oh,
in the car.
I've had a I can tell you, and I don't know if these soundtracks are gonna come up on your list later, but I can tell you, there are songs in the Moana soundtrack that make me cry when I sing along. Matilda, there are songs that make me cry. Hairspray, there are songs that make me cry. Like
Mm,
it's yeah. Musicals are like very, very powerful. Like, and it doesn't even
yeah.
have to be like I'll be honest, like the day after we saw Moana, I was singing You're Welcome and it made me cry and he was like, why are you crying? And I was like,
I
because all he
know.
wanted was for someone to say thank you the whole time. Like he just wanted to be
Yeah.
appreciated. I'm like, you wouldn't get it. No,
I
it's
really
insane.
like that particular song, I think, because it starts off like he's singing and he's shown obviously, Whoopi Goldberg character that he can really sing, he's taking the lead, he can do it, and then he gets he's performing in front of the school, and then, like, he sort of is singing kind of like, he's not really pushing himself, he sounds nice, but it's not great, and she's like, "Alright, like, I'm gonna help build you up," and they get to a point where he starts, like, really going for it, and then at the end, he does, like, this, like, whistle note, and everyone's like, and, like, it's just so lovely. I just love it. And both movies just make you feel nice and they make you wanna sort of, like, dance and they like you said, that Motown, like, soul music, it makes you wanna go to church. And it's not and, like, church has never been something that's really beckoned me before watching these movies, so, if I mean, like they do in the movie, if you put some fun music in there, then I'll come. But all the churches that I've been to, the hymns were kind of boring, so they didn't sound like they did in Sister Act.
um, yeah, I don't think most of the ones that we have access to are like that at all, unfortunately. Um,
Unfortunately, not. No.
um, good stuff. What is next on your list, Gabby?
So my next one is the Mulan soundtrack.
Ah, yes, I am. This is a great list. Like
Thank you.
so far, like, I'm 100% on board. Even with Sister Act, even though I haven't seen them, just looking at those soundtracks, I'm like, yup, I get it. You and I have exchanged many audio, like videos of like children singing, "I'll Make a Man Out of You." So,
Oh, I just love it. And like, you know, honor to us all. I'll make a man out of you.
hmm
Obviously, a girl worth fighting for.
hmm
I just love like a reflection. It's such a good soundtrack, and like again, all of the songs I know all of the words to. Um, and then like that scene where she's cutting her hair,
hmm
I can hear it. I know exactly what part of the movie it is. I've listened to that like driving home when it's raining. I'm like I'm in the movie, and like it's so powerful, the music in it, and it does like transport you to a place because a lot of this, like the instruments that they're using, like it's not typical in Western music. And like, I don't know whether that's like done in an appropriate way. I'm not the authority on that, but I do appreciate things that are different. Um, I like pop music as much as the next person, but like when I'm watching a movie, I'm not listening for familiar sounds.
hmm
And there are like a lot of songs and like music pieces in this movie where it's not the average sound that you're hearing. So that's what I really enjoy about it. And obviously Mulan is a fantastic movie. The animation's great and like the story's great. I am a huge Christina Aguilera fan in terms of her voice is just unmatched, and her version of Reflection is fantastic. So
I
I
don't
was
think
like
I've heard
listening
that. I
to
didn't know
that.
she did a version of it. I mean, I guess it makes
Yeah.
sense. Every pop star does a version of a Disney song, so
Yeah, so
uh,
hers was actually on the soundtrack like release. So like when they released the official soundtrack, hers was on there. I think it may have been like in the credits at some point. I don't think like it wasn't the
yeah, that makes sense. Because I know with Frozen, I think it was Demi Lovato did "Let It Go," um, and
okay.
Panic at the Disco did "Into the Unknown." I think in the second Frozen movie. So it's pretty common, like that they get like kind of mainstream artists to do the credit version of the song.
Yep,
Um,
yep,
"I'll Make a Man Out of You" was the first song I really exposed Zoe to. I was like, I would show her clips of
yep,
it all the time because I was like, "Mummy loves this movie, so you need to learn this song." And then, like, I think I showed you when we still work together, like a video of Zoe singing it in the car. She
yep.
started figuring out the lyrics, but
He's so
yeah, it's a great soundtrack, and yeah, like the girl worth fighting for is so good. Like even to this day, like when it's like the only one who'll love him is his mother,
cute.
like cracks Tina up all the time. Like she finds it hilarious. Um, oh, it's so good. Um, and that flick holds up like
Yeah.
insanely well. We watched, I think it was last year. We watched it. We showed Zoe for the first time, and that flick had me crying by the end of it. Like especially all the Mulan and her father stuff is just so beautiful. Um,
Yeah, I it's so sweet and like I just love it's like right just cuz I'm a girl like I can still do things and I don't like I understand obviously there's, like, cultural differences between, like, traditional Chinese, like, gender expectations and gender roles and things like that, and there still is very much so, like, having been to China and lived with a family, like, I could still see things that potentially we may not do in Australia or in just, like, a Western culture that they still do over there in terms of gender roles, but, like, I think it was a really great message and, like, delivered in a way that wasn't, like, shoving it down your throat, like, it was just like, "Well, I can do this as well, and I don't have to be someone's wife to be important
Mm,
or anything." So, like, I just thought that was really cool.
yeah. Did you hear that, Andre? She doesn't have to be
Yeah.
anyone's wife, bro. Stop trying to make her your wife. Uh,
Don't
sorry.
ever say that again. I'm 28, nearly. I don't wanna be a spinster forever.
Oh my goodness, you're really just falling into these gender roles, Gabby. Did you
I
learn
know.
nothing from Barbie? Um,
Exactly.
the biggest discovery for me about Mulan happened a few years ago when I started like, listening to the songs in the car for Zoe and stuff. The voice of Shang in the singing voice is Donny Osmond,
Yeah, I saw that, I was like, "Oh, well,
and like he
there you
still sings "I'll Make a Man Out of You" at like his concerts and stuff. Like it's part of his set list.
I mean, like, I would,
Yeah,
it's a great song, I feel like everyone loves
such a
it.
good song. I don't know if you can get it. Like, I don't know if you can get away with that song these days. Like when they talked about the Mulan remake and there were no songs, everyone was outraged. I'm like, oh yeah, no. In 2021, you're going to put a song called "I'll Make a Man Out of You" in a song about women. Like, there's no way they're going to do that. That seems like a very dangerous move for Disney. But it is a good
Yeah.
song, and that's not what it's about at all. But
No,
I could just
exactly.
imagine the anti-Disney uproar that would have come with it. So
I saw, a funny TikTok the other day, and it was like, um, it was like of a gym bro, and he's like, "To be a man, you gotta be able to lift," and, like, it cuts off, and then this guy's like, "Well, actually, to be a man, you need to, like, fight with a raging" oh, what's the word? Like,
with all the hang on, you must be strong as the
is it
no, hang on, is it
coursing river
with all
with all the
the
strength of a great
great
typhoon,
typhoon.
um, with all the strength of a raging fire, and you also have to be mysterious as the dark side of the
Yeah.
moon. But like he said it so matter of factly, he's like,
Yeah.
and also you have to be mysterious as the dark side of the moon to be a man. So
As swift as a coursing river, I
swift
think
as a
it is.
coursing river. That's
Yeah,
right.
if I
Yes,
was singing it, because so here's the
exactly.
if
When
you
you
want
sing it, you know it. When you say it,
another Zoe story, if there's not been enough, she was going through this period where, like, she just wouldn't sleep, and she's always been pretty good, but, like, she would want me to sing to her, like, when she was so she was like and again, like, this is not 12-year-old Danny, James. This is 30-year-old cracked rusty pipes James. But she wanted me to sing to her, and I didn't really know any songs like that would be suitable. I wasn't going to sing like like Avenged Sevenfold or something. So I
look, ooh,
so
go to
I would
sleep.
sing "I'll Make a Man Out of You" to her until she went to sleep, but I would sing it like in a very slow ballad way, and I might have been like, "And listen to my humble ballad." Like, no, it was awful. Like, it was not good. But like, I would sing her to sleep, and I would just sing the same song over and over again for like 20 minutes, just like, "Let's get down to business," like just really slow. And
Aw.
I said to Tina, like, it's a cute story, but I said one day she'd be like, "You sang that to me, like it's such a violent song." I'm like, "Well, you were a violent kid, so."
So that's what you get,
But
and
yes, I used to sing
you
that to her as
loved it.
that was her lullaby. And I'd forgotten about that until right now, so thank you for that lovely memory. I'm very
Oh,
happy to
you're
remember
most
that.
welcome. My dad said that I used to fall asleep listening to AC/DC, so
That
it
tracks. From what I never met your dad, but from what I know about your dad based on our conversations, that tracks.
he's like, "You know what? I'm not gonna do Baa Baa Black Sheep. You're getting Back in Black. Bye."
Well, Zoe's into yeah, metal actually. She's into heavy stuff now. Like she's just discovered, and this isn't metal, but she's just discovered My Chemical Romance. So
Oh, hell yeah.
so there's some songs we can't play, A, because of the swearing, but B, like Tina was like, "Look, they're just too dark. We can't have her singing about death." And I was like, "Fair enough." Um,
Like,
but
she's singing "I'm Not Okay."
she does like "I'm Not Okay," and she also likes Helena, which is also about death
Yeah.
actually, but it's a little bit more a little bit more obscure. but she's been getting into them. She's been getting into Fallout Boy. She's been getting into Story of the Year. Like her favorite, one of her favorite songs is "And the Hero Will Drown," which is a really like aggressive song.
Oh my
Um,
god.
but yeah, she's a little, and like now she'll like when I put on my music in the car, if I'll look in the mirror and if she likes it, you'll see her just kind of rocking back and forth, like banging her head like softly. I'm like, yeah, little 3-year-old metal chick. It's great.
That's so cute.
Who thought there's gonna be so much heart in this episode after all those dumb jokes about me being a sack you put weapons into? Um, let's jump forward. I knew that I'd get another bite at that apple. Um, James, if you just ate an apple, you wouldn't look like a sack. Um, it's been a long time since we've had a conversation. So I'm whipping out every arrow in my sling today. Gabby, what is soundtrack number 2 on your list?
It would not be
It's got to be
a Gabby
Hans.
episode if I did talk about Gladiator. I think
Yes,
I
there it
think
is.
I feel like Ridley Scott and Hans Zimmer could just make their money only for me, and like they would still be as rich as they are because I cannot get enough. I watch Gladiator like bi-monthly. Like I just love it so much, and it's really the music that like
Mm,
pushes it home. Like all the performances are fantastic, the costuming is great, everything about the actual film itself is great, but the songs are so beautiful. It really does take you on a journey. Like, I always reference the battle, which, you know, some days I feel like I am in a battle at work. Um, but there's like, where like Reunion, and like Elysium, they're like they're such beautiful songs. And you can hear what part of the story you're up to through like as you move through the soundtrack. And like especially towards the end, like when after everything's happened and they return, like they bury his body in the Colosseum, that song is just so peaceful. And it is a true marker of what's happened in the movie, is that finally this guy, we started off as a like a commander a soldier in the army, and all he wanted to do was go home and be with his family, and finally at the very end he does so, but in the spiritual world, like in his
mm,
spiritual form. And that's the only way he was ever going to get true peace, because as if he was alive, he there was always that chance that he was going to be called up again, because he had a duty or like a obligation to the emperor. So in his next life, or in his like spiritual form, he can finally just be who he wants to be, and live how he wants to live, and whatever that looks like we don't know. But he does say, I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. He doesn't have to.
mm,
So I just love that movie so much. And Hans Zimmer, there I could talk about every movie he's ever worked on. I could talk about Lion King, I could talk about Inception, I can talk about uh the Dark Knight trilogy. Like,
mhm,
although a lot of those, and I know when you were talking to Matt and David about his work, that a lot of it is like quite bombastic, like loud sounds. Especially more of his like later works, where it is like quite big horn sounds and things like that, that may not necessarily be like music per se. I I I don't I think they're essential sometimes to
Oh
what
yeah, like I think, and I Matt brought it up on his list, and when he said, I was about to say, like Interstellar is the exception to the rule. But even, I don't know if Hans Zimmer did Prestige. Did he do Prestige? I know he does a lot of Nolan films.
mm,
Um,
I don't know.
but those Dark Knight films aren't, it's not like they're just like epic walls of like the same sound. There's definitely light and dark to it, but like his kind of go to thing is that relentless like dun 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 dun, 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 or
Yes.
like like those are the kind of those go tos for him. Yeah, I'm a man of many talents, guys. I can do Hans Zimmer sounds, but he does have yeah.
David Julian did the music
Oh, there you
on
go.
Prestige.
I mean, I can't remember Prestige off the top of my head, but I know that's more whimsical. So I wondered whether
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
involved. Where do you stand? I don't think we talked about it really, but Gladiator 2 is scheduled for release next year. How do you feel about that, knowing how important that first one is to you?
I'm open to it because I feel like you were talking to potentially it could have been Nick about like going how you were a little bit apprehensive with House of the Dragon after
Hmm.
being a fan of Game of Thrones, and it ended a little bit like you said you weren't hateful of the ending, but you thought that
No, I'm not
obviously
one of.
what
I wasn't one of those people, but
no,
yeah.
but obviously like nothing like it wasn't perfect by any stretch, and I I'm excited to see what they can do, 20 plus years on
I mean,
with
Pedro Pascal, Denzel Washington, like that's a pretty good cast.
right. And so I feel like, it has a potential to be great. It's not gonna have the same impact on me. I don't think it could be better. It could not be as good. I don't know yet. Um,
Are
but
you
I
going to be
think
distraught if Hans isn't brought back? You'll be like, why would you even bother?
yeah. Yeah, I will actually. I
What if they
will
bring in like, like we're taking a different take? Danny Elfman, he's there.
we're actually bringing in Lin-Manuel Miranda and it's gonna be a musical. Um
Pedro Pascal rapping. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. Like, actually, the more we talk about it, why aren't we doing
Why
that right
are we
now?
doing that?
Gladdleton.
Um,
It's like they just.
Glad Canto or something. I don't know. That was shit. Sorry. Um,
Look, it wasn't great, but I didn't bring you here for the puns. I brought you here for the conversation, so it's all good.
but yeah, like I just like I'll be disappointed, but there are definitely other composers that you could work with. Um, that are still great.
Mm,
I feel like I'm a bit of a traditionalist in the sense like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
hmm.
Um, and I don't know if Hans is slowing down anytime soon in terms of his work. I think when you're that talented, like it's almost rude not to share your talents with the world. So
Mm. Well, what's his name? John Williams is
John
still
Williams,
kicking. He was
that's
like, he
it.
was like a
Yeah,
few years ago. He's like, I'm retiring, and he's like, actually, I'm not. Never mind.
just
Like,
joking. I'm just playing funny buggers with you.
yeah,
Um,
94 year old, I think he is. So like,
I mean, like
squeeze every last drop out because you can't take it
they
with you.
yeah, well, they say that people who like are able to like read music and play an instrument like quite well, like their brain is just able to pick up more. And I feel like that's a skill I wish I had. Music,
Mm.
like being able to play an instrument. I find like it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, play the guitar, like listen to me play Wonderwall, or like
I
being
learned
able
three
to
chords, guys. I'm ready to start a band,
like or
which
and
is how
or just
I got
play
into a
like
band when I was a teenager.
or
I didn't
just
even know
like
the
play
chords yet.
Smoke
I'm
on the
like, we'll
Water
figure it
or
out.
something. But I just think it's so nice, like because both of them, it's not just one instrument that they know. Like they write for every instrument, and every thing that they're a part of is such an experience to go on. I don't ever listen to anything that they make and be like, well, that was shit, or like that was boring, or maybe it wasn't meant for me. I can put myself into any of the stories and be like, whoa,
Mm.
I'm immediately into it. If I see either of their names on something, oh, okay, fine. Yes, I will. I will watch it. Yes, I will listen. Yes, I'll be a part of it. Because even if the content isn't really like it doesn't jump out at me, I'm not turned off by it because I feel like if they're involved, clearly they think it's worth some merit. Like they're not involved in small things. So,
Well, I can tell you like an example, like just and again, like it's not a Hans or a John Williams thing, but like whilst the score is and the score is complementary and supporting of the film, a good score will stand on its own. And there are two CDs I have, like physical CDs I have in my collection,
mm,
which I'm not embarrassed by, but people would be like, "Really, you've got these scores?" So the first one is Suicide Squad, the one from 2016, because
yep,
that score is quite fun. Um,
yep.
but the other one I have, and this I think will shock even you, I have the original Twilight score.
First of all, how dare you?
Oh no, you do like Twilight, but I no, well, not how deep, not how. I'm not like insulting it, but I think that it would be shocking for someone to think like I don't think people would assume that I would have a Twilight CD, but I love that score. I think it's great.
Well, I think when people hear what kind of bands and stuff are on that soundtrack,
Well,
and
I'm not
just
talking
like
about that. I'm talking about just the
like
music.
just the music, yeah.
Mm.
Um, but all the music in that movie is beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. It's wonderful. Is it? I can't remember. I can't remember. If it's Ed. I think it's Bella's Lullaby or whatever the one that Edward plays.
Oh,
Like it's great. Like great piece of music.
gorgeous.
I used to play that in my car, but like I don't know if I'm winning or losing credit anymore. Like people are like, what? He was driving around listening to
No,
Bella's Lullaby. I'm like, yeah. I thought it was a great.
it's so
The whole score was
pretty.
wonderful.
No, it's everything. I mean, you don't need to convince me. I'm already there.
Mm. And then the soundtrack's good as well. You got Paramore, you've got Muse, you've got Linkin Park. Like, it's everything that I was growing up on. So, um, that baseball scene. That's all you need to say. Baseball scene.
Exactly, exactly.
Supermassive
I
black hole. Like, great.
every time it rains at school, like every time it just rains in general, and I'm at Andre's house. He lives like in the hills, so it looks exactly like Forks,
Forks, yeah.
especially when it's foggy. Like it was like this morning, but I wasn't there. But if I was, I would have been tickling all the right spots. Um, it's got those like big redwood type trees, so
Mm.
like everything about it is just like, oh my god, Forks! Oh my god, oh my god. Let's play baseball right now in the forest.
Let's play forest baseball. So the only thing is, whenever people say Forks, I think of Dumbledore's Phoenix. Um, I don't think of like ironically not the cutlery, the one that we all see every single day. I'm like, no, 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 Phoenix, then Twilight, then knife and fork.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how broken my brain is. Gabby, we're at the end. We've got one more to go. We're at the top of your list. I have no idea where you're going. Are you going to do a double Hans? Do you have another musical soundtrack? I'm very keen to hear what it is.
Well, finally, then we should talk about Twilight because it's my number one. That's why I said, "How dare you?" Because I'm like, I don't know what kind of AI you're using on this podcast, but how are you spying on me?
No, not at all. It's a great soundtrack, so I apologize for stealing your thunder there. Uh, are you going? So I had a little stutter there. Today, Junior. Are you going soundtrack, score, or are you going both?
I'm going both. I
Yeah, it's
think,
pretty
yeah,
solid.
like obviously, like the score, it's really lovely. Bella's Lullaby is beautiful, but like I said, yeah, there's like huge bands on there: Muse, Paramore. Um, Even Robert Pattinson sings on the
Mm.
like in the first movie as well. And that song you can't actually find anywhere. Like like you can't to listen to. It's really hard to find. Um, but I just love all the songs on it. You could play any song from all five movies, and I will know exactly which scene it's from, what's going on. Um, like I'm part of a very large population of people that grew up as a teenager when Twilight was coming out and still love it to this day. I'm part of a Twilight shit posting group, and it is everything about it is hilarious because, like, you'd think that, I think it's been like 14 years since the last one came out, potentially, maybe a little bit less.
2012, apparently. So yeah, it's
Okay.
been pretty
Yes. Yeah.
close.
So just a little bit less. Yeah. So, like, you'd think that far on, the references would stop being funny, or like the jokes about it would stop being funny. It's never not funny.
Mm.
Um, but like, yeah, that's in the first movie. There's like Muse, Paramore, Linkin Park. Um,
That Iron
yeah,
and Wine song is really good as well.
Flightless Bird is such a gorgeous song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then in New Moon, you've got Death Cab for Cutie, The Killers, Muse again.
I think Muse is
Um,
on just about every single soundtrack.
yeah,
And I remember, I mean, I wasn't watching them, but because Tina was obsessed for a while,
yep.
and she was watching all these interviews with like Stephanie Meyer and things like that, and she was like, "Look, I didn't list them in the book, but the records that Edward has is like Linkin Park, Muse, like all the stuff that like ended
Mm.
up being on the soundtrack was the way that she'd intended it. Was like kind of like that alt rock from the 2000s. So,
Yes, yeah. Like,
which looking back, it's like it's not that creative, really, but also makes for a
no,
good soundtrack. Like, oh, a
yeah.
teenager was into Linkin Park, shocker. Like,
Well, that's it. And so like then you've got Eclipse, and that one's got Muse again, Florence and the Machine, Sia, the Black Keys.
I saw Green Day was
Um,
on one of them. I think on one of the Breaking Dawns, the Green Day was on. So
um, yeah, Vampire Weekend, CeeLo Green, Howard Shaw. Um, and then we've got Breaking Dawn has Angus and Julia Stone, Bruno Mars, Christina Perri with A Thousand Years. That was like the main song. Like I think that was the um oh my god. At the very end of Breaking Dawn Part 2, that's like the credit scene
I haven't
song.
seen either of the Breaking Dawns. I've seen the first three movies, but I haven't seen any of the Breaking Dawn movies. But
Oh, they're the best
that's what
ones.
I've heard. So I've got to get on it. One of my favorite stories about the Twilight soundtrack is about a song that's not even on there. Um, on their fourth album, My Chemical Romance on Danger Days, they did a bonus track called Vampire Money. And it's basically a song about how everyone kept trying to get them to do a Twilight song, and they're like, no, we don't want to. Like, so they wrote a song
Yeah.
about like how they don't want the vampire money. I thought it was very funny.
Yeah, because I think there's some like thing about how she was listening to a lot of like My Chemical Romance or something, and then like I keep seeing like references to like how it all links back to like 9/11 or something,
Oh,
and I was just like, oh my god, like and how
we
uh
started political, we're ending political.
yeah, well, like like they keep making these like weird references, and I guess like that's the point of a shit posting group to like just make everything related when it's not. But like there is a lot of stuff on the internet about that, and I'm gonna have to find it, but I won't be doing that now because I'm tired.
It is
Um,
late. It is
but
late. So
yeah, like like all like huge bands, huge artists on it, and but all of the songs are really good. That first movie, like that soundtrack, I had the CD, I had it like downloaded on my iPod. I would listen to it all the time, and like when you're a teenager and you're just being like a loser in the car, it's raining, you're looking out the window, you're pretending you're in a music video, like it's
you're
very
like, why does my
pathetic.
dad drive a red pickup? Why don't I go to
Where's
why
the
ha-
Volvo?
why can't I talk to Edward under the fluorescence?
Yeah,
Like
it must be the fluorescence. But like,
Anna
I
Kendrick is in that film as well.
yes, she is, and
Early
she's
Anna Kendrick
like
role.
very. She plays the perfect pick me girl,
Mm.
um, which like I hated her as a like when I was watching the movies because I was
Oh
just like,
yeah, she's
oh, you're
not
so
like she's not meant to
annoying.
be very likable, but like who could have imagined that that girl would have then gone to be one of the most amazing comedic actresses of our time? Like,
Yeah, so I mean, like, good for her because it kick-started that for her, and now Kristen Stewart is doing big things. I mean, they're all doing big things post the Twilight Saga, and good for them,
I
the
keep
actors and
saying, like Robert
actresses.
Pattinson and Kristen Stewart are the smartest people in Hollywood. Like there are
Yep.
five of these things. We do them. We're rich for life. We can make whatever movies we want, and they're doing it. Like Rob Pattinson makes interesting indie films, and he gets to be Batman. Kristen Stewart, like she did Underwater, which is brilliant. She did Happiest Season, which is a really wonderful movie. Like she's doing all sorts of cool, interesting roles, and it's all thanks to Twilight because Twilight builds an audience of teenagers who are now going
Yeah,
to go see them in other things. Um,
that's it.
Twilight was one of my first Blu-rays. I didn't choose it, but on my 21st birthday, my wife bought me, she's my girlfriend at the time, she bought me a PlayStation 3 because she knew I liked movies. And she was like, well, you better watch Blu rays on this. So she was the first, she got me on it. It's something I'm sure she regrets now. She's like, oh my God, I got him onto this and now he won't stop. Um, but she bought me a PS3 and it came with Casino Royale and Twilight. And she was like, I'm so sorry it comes with Twilight. I was like, I don't care. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not a bad movie.
Sorry, not sorry.
I was like, and she's like, I'm so sorry that I have to watch it now. Um, I
Five
did
thousand
watch
times.
Casino Royale that night and stand by that choice. It was brilliant. But No, I think Twilight is a great soundtrack choice. I can't believe that I spoiled it when I started talking about the
I
score.
was like, "Surely fucking not. How dare this guy?"
I don't know why,
I
but
mean,
I
to be
thought I
fair,
thought I don't know why, because nothing you've ever said or done would indicate this, but for some reason I thought that Hairspray was going to show up on your list.
well, Hairspray is definitely like it's on my honorable mentions.
Mhm.
There's a few on there.
I can tell
Um,
you that "You Can't Stop the Beat" is the song that made me cry, and it was when Edna started singing. I was like,
oh, you
"This is
know
good."
what? I like I feel like Edna every time I wear um fishnet stockings because I'm like, you can stop my loving for when I see a Christmas ham. That's me every time. So I relate to that on a personal level. But I love that. I love that soundtrack. I love the movie. Every song is catchy. Every song you can listen to and love and enjoy. Even Miss Baltimore Crabs, which is
Great song.
okay, what the hell? It's like, but also like Michelle Pfeiffer was a perfect choice to play um that role. I think she was fantastic. Everyone did a fantastic job, and I remember at the time. I think I was in early high school when that came out, potentially even end of year six, start of year seven. I can't remember,
That was
but
2008, I want to say. I was currently
uh,
ditching my literature tutors tutorials, so that Tina and I could go to the movies instead. We're like, should we go to lit? No, let's go to Hairspray. Um,
yep. So
that's what we
yeah, I
did.
was. So then, if it was 2008, then I was in year seven,
Yeah.
and I saw it at the movies like 3 or 4 times. I was just like, "Let's go see it again." Did I have a big fat crush on Zac Efron? Yes. Do I still now? Also,
He's
yes.
great in that movie. That was kind of like, I think that's his first post High School Musical movie, like
Post High
his,
School Musical, yep.
and like it gave him like a bit of an edge. And like Hairspray isn't the edgiest film out there, but compared to what he was doing, it did kind of open up a bit more, and you got to see his acting chops and like see him do a bit of funny
Yeah.
stuff. And now like he's brilliant. Like you just see him doing all these like cool roles and stuff. But that flick is genius, and the soundtrack is amazing. Again, like every single song. Amanda Bynes that is peak Amanda Bynes to me. Obviously, she's had some
Yeah.
personal issues the last decade or so, which is um, disappointing for her, and hopefully she's getting the help that she needs. But she is so good in that flick. Like she is
She's
amazing.
so funny because I grew up with the Amanda Show, like, on Nickelodeon and
Amanda,
stuff, and
Amanda, 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 Amanda. Yeah.
yeah, so, like, I just it's good to see her in that role. She's also in, like, Easy A, and, like, so she's like, it's clear she's got talent,
Oh,
unfortunately, yeah,
Easy
like,
A.
as
I
you
just
said.
bought Easy A on Blu-ray. It's so good. I've got to rewatch it.
Um, yeah, like, it's clear she's got, like, a great talent, obviously, she's got some personal issues, so as you said, I hope she is getting the help she needs, but she plays a great role. Queen Latifah is great in it as
As
well.
Motormouth Mabel, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then I also had, Jersey Boys on there as well. Like, the movie wasn't the best movie I've ever seen, but
I've seen the play, not the movie, but the soundtrack is. I mean, it's Frankie Valli. Like it's so good.
yeah. So, like, I saw the musical when I was in year 9, and it blew me away with how good it was, and then I saw the movie because I had seen the play, um, and, like, the movie wasn't as good as the play, but it was fairly good, but the soundtrack was really good, like, all of the music was great. Um,
It's a Clint Eastwood film, isn't it? Didn't he direct Jersey Boys?
um,
Am I wrong? I could be wrong. Because I remember I thought it was him become like, wow, that's such a weird choice for Clint Eastwood. But I could be wrong. But I thought he did do Jersey Boys. Yeah, it was Clint Eastwood. Yep.
yeah, it was too. But yeah, like, I thought, like, I enjoyed it. As I said, it wasn't the best movie I've ever seen, but the soundtrack was fantastic. Can't fault it. The other 2 that I had on there was, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, I still listen to music from that, like, in the car, like, I hear it. I hear the time will come on at parties and stuff still. It's a fabulous song. And the cast is huge in
Mm.
that as well. And then the last movie I had on my honorable mentions was Juno. Um,
Oh, interesting. I don't think can tell you anything off the Juno soundtrack, but I like where you're going.
so it's got like Sonic Youth, Kimia Dawson, The Kinks, Buddy Holly, um, and like some other bands or like artists that aren't like I'm not super familiar with, but like I listened to that song. I mean, I listened to that soundtrack like I'm gonna say almost every single day when I was in year 11 and year 12. Like,
Mm.
because I used to walk to school from the train station, and I would listen to it on my walk from to and from this train station every single day. All the like, and I hadn't listened to the soundtrack probably since I finished high school, and I put it on the other day. And when I say the other day, it's any stretch of time. Um, but I listened to it probably a few weeks ago, and I still knew all the words, and I hadn't listened to it in about 10 years, and it made me wanna watch the movie again. I haven't yet, but I really do wanna watch the movie again because it was really good, and we studied it in, um we studied it in year 11, ethics, and, like, because it was, like, teen pregnancy and, like, what should have they have done and blah, blah,
Mm.
blah, and then it was, like, you know, promote discussion about abortion and whether that like that should be allowed or whatever. And I went to an Anglican school, so that was
Let me guess what they were saying.
well,
Nah,
funnily enough,
Anglicans are pretty cool. They're all right.
we had our teacher for that was like the reverend for the school, and he was rather progressive for like a man of the cloth. I don't know if they're men of the cloth. He was a reverend. He had the robes and stuff, so I guess so.
Yeah.
I just thought that that's what they were called. But yeah,
I
like, he was
like
rather
Man of the Cloth. I think that's a good reference.
yeah, but he like these there he was rather progressive and like what we're talking about, obviously consequences to either decision and things like that. And it was never like presented in a way like, no, this is the only way. It was like, okay, well, if you can provide sound reasoning and stuff for your answer, then it's not necessarily the wrong answer. There's no wrong answer.
Mm.
It's just that your answer might be different to other people's, but it can't just be an opinion and that's it. So it was done in like a tasteful way. It wasn't like
Like
how
my answer is no because of the devil. Like full marks.
yes, A plus. Um, but yeah, so I just thought I really like that one.
Hmm.
So I think it's like kind of like got an indie music feel to it. So like
Definitely an indie soundtrack.
yeah. So if you go and listen to that, it's like a nice, like, casual listen. It's like you don't have to, it's not gonna, like, pump you up to go to the gym or anything, but it's a nice, like, driving album.
It'll leave you feeling whimsical. You'll be like, feeling whimsical. I just couldn't elaborate on that thought I had. It
Whimsical, yeah.
it's
And
late,
so, like
guys.
yeah, and, like, again, a great cast, so, like, Elliot Page, Michael Cera, Jennifer Garner, Jason Bateman,
J.K. Simmons, who is the
J.K.
man.
Simmons, Allison Janney, um, huge yeah, like, even Rainn Wilson's in it,
Oh yeah, of course he is.
yeah, so it's, like, I really it's a great movie, and good for, I guess, young people to watch, I guess. Um, but yeah, it was that's it, I reckon. That's all she wrote. I mean, there's plenty of soundtracks that I could discuss and, like, scores and things like that that I love, but those are, like, the main ones that stick out to me.
It's a solid list. And I thought you had a really good mix in there. There's something for everyone in there. Like I wouldn't look at that list and be like, "Pff, well, no one's gonna like anything on this. Like there's literally like there's something that everyone can enjoy. Like that Mulan soundtrack is great. That's what I could just think of on top of my head. Sister Act again. I haven't seen the flick, but like soundtrack is wonderful. It feels like like a sister soundtrack to the Blues Brothers. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I would liken it to.
mm, um, Excellent, Gabby. Well, great list. Very excited, and like getting me in the mood to listen to some tunes now. I'm not going to 'cause it's time for my bed, so I'm not going to listen to any
Yeah.
tunes now. I'm going to relax. Um, but that's going to do it for this week's episode, guys. So thanks again, Gabby, for coming along solo. Next time we'll see your man as well, and we'll do some apocalyptic films. But it was good to have you back and talking about some tunes. Do you have anything you want to say before we wrap things up this evening?
No, that's it for me.
You're like, no,
Thanks
don't
for
throw it to
listening.
me. Just end the show so I can go to sleep. Fair enough. Um, what can I say? What can I plug before we get out of here? If you're not following the show on Instagram, you're missing out on all the cool stuff. So go ahead and follow the show. I was a teenage film snob with underscores between each word. I actually haven't been super active the last couple of weeks because I've been very tired. But I'm still trying to post Blu-rays and stuff when I can. If you want to support the show and give us money, my bank account details are no. Jump onto tpublic.com. You can buy yourself a sweet t-shirt, hoodie, or sticker. New customers get 20% off. And they're pretty nifty. Both Gabby and I have our I was a teenage film snob t-shirts. Andre has one as well. And they're
Yes,
very comfy. I don't know if you've noticed, but they're really comfortable t-shirts
they are very comfortable.
and they look very cool. So go ahead and buy yourself one of those. I make pretty much no money off them, so it is not for money, guys. It's just because it's fun. Where else can I direct you? That's pretty much it. That's all I want to kind of hip you to. Um, we'll be back again next week, hopefully. I do, as I've mentioned for weeks now, getting my wisdom teeth out, so that may delay the show, but I'll try and get some content out over the next couple of weeks while I'm recovering. Um, but otherwise, thank you all for listening to this episode and listening to Gabby's great list. And as we say every single week on the show, I was a teenage film snob, but guys, I promise you, I'm trying to be better. We'll see you next week.